All right, let's get this going. Welcome, everyone. So today I'm going to be reviewing the poster symposium I did for the crop ecology course on this journal titled Positive Effects of Crop Diversity on Productivity Driven by Changes in Soil Microbial Composition. All right, to the left is our abstract, but we're basically going to be covering it in these sections in here. So to start off with the introduction, soil microbes are closely linked to plants through various interactions influenced by above and below ground plant processes. So including increasing plant diversity, such as through intercropping, has the potential to boost soil microbial diversity and soil health. On the downside, these specific responses of soil microbial communities to crop diversity and their influence on crop yield is still not yet fully understood. Therefore, these researchers aim at answering these three questions, which is one, how does crop diversity affect soil microbial diversity and respiration in comparison to abiotic process properties? Two, are changes in soil microbial diversity and respiration related to crop yield? And three, are crop soil microbe relationships and their effects on crop yield environmentally context dependent? Meaning, are they kind of like a niche situation? Are they specific to that area? Next, we analyze our methods and materials. Is very important to know a little bit of background on this. So the crop diversity experiment took place in outdoor experiment gardens in Zurich, Switzerland, and in Torrejón el Rubio, Cáceres, Spain. For Zurich, Switzerland is characterized by a temperate climate, while the Spanish side is located in a dry Mediterranean climate. And the main climatic differences during the growing seasons is between April and August in Switzerland and between February and June in Spain, where the precipitation is 587 millimeters in Zurich and 225 millimeters in Cáceres. So that in itself is like a 300 millimeter difference. And the daily average of sunshine is 5.7 hours in Zurich and 8.8 hours in Cáceres. It's also important to take into consideration the soil texture and composition. In Spain, soil was composed of 78% sand, 20% silt, and 2% clay, and they contain a 0.04%, 0.05% nitrogen, 0.5% carbon, and 253 milligrams total of phosphorus per kilogram. As for Switzerland, the soil consisted of 45% sand, 45% silt, and 10% clay. Nice, and there's also right here is mentioning about the eight crop species that represented the different functional groups that were grown in various combinations of mono, two, and four species mixtures. But for these eight crop species, the ones that they were trialing were specifically wheat, which is a C3 grass, and another C3 grass, which is oats. Then they also tried lentils and lupins, which are legumes. And they tried two different flax. They tried the regular flax herb and then the false flax, false flax. And the other last two were the Chenopodium quinoa, which is just quinoa, the grain, and Coriandrum sativa, which is coriander or cilantro. And the last thing that they use for the soil to record the soil moisture, they used a sensor at a depth of 6 centimeters. And for to get the results of the crops, they use regular metrics on weighing out the yields and so on. And they graphed it up using the SEM graphs to show the results, which we'll go over later right now. But next we'll go to the results. So they showed an increased crop diversity in Switzerland and led to shifts in soil microbial community composition, especially boosting beneficial microbes like actinobacteria. This was the partial reason for the increased crop yield, which was 15% in two species and 35% in four species mixtures. On the other hand, though, in Spain, resource-limited soil conditions resulted in soil microbial communities that did not significantly respond to crop diversity, and therefore the impact of the yield was weaker. So overall, the crop diversity can influence soil microbial composition and productivity, but these effects are context dependent and less pronounced than abiotic factors. All right, let's take a look at the graphs right here. Let me see if I could zoom in. All right, all right, cool, nice. This is, all right, yeah, we can see it now. All right. So the top left right here with the blue and red markers is showing that fertilization significantly increases fungal and bacterial diversity in both Spain and Switzerland, while the crop species number has a smaller or marginal effect on fungal diversity and no direct effect on bacterial alpha diversity. However, though, crop diversity influences beta diversity, which indicates shifts in community composition rather than diversity richness. And for the bottom two graphs down here, they depict how the number of crop species affects the composition of soil microbial communities with significant shifts along certain principal coordinate axes. And these shifts correlate with crop yield because in Switzerland, bacterial community composition exhibits strong positive relationship with crop yield as crop diversity increases, which basically suggests that changes in microbial community structure are linked to productivity. And for the last graph over here to the top right, it shows the effects of crop yield with the legume presence. The horizontal lines represent the median of the data. The boxes represent the lower and upper quartiles, which are 20 and 75%, and the vertical lines extending from the hinge of the box to the smallest and largest values. And there's no further than 1.5 times the interquartile range. All right, let's see if I zoom out of this. Nice. Which basically goes next to our discussion. So the discussion highlights that crop diversity can positively influence soil microbial communities and crop yields, especially in resource-rich environments like Switzerland, where the microbial responses and plant microbe interactions were clearly evident. In Switzerland, increases in microbial diversity and shifts toward beneficial plant growth promoting bacteria contributed to higher crop yields in mixed cropping systems. However, though, in Spain, the harsher environmental conditions like low soil nutrients and water scarcity limited microbial responses and weakened the link between soil microbes and crop productivity. The study emphasized that abiotic factors like soil moisture and fertilization generally have a stronger influence on soil microbial communities than crop diversity alone, especially under stressful conditions. Overall, the findings suggest that the benefits of crop diversity on soil microbes and crop yields are context dependent. Then, if we head on over to our conclusion, let's see, all right, cool, yeah, explain. The conclusion basically emphasizes that crop diversity can influence soil microbial communities and contribute to increased crop yields, but these effects are often minor compared to the impacts of the abiotic factors like fertilization and soil moisture. So while microbial changes associated with intercropping can partially explain productivity gains, their influence is highly dependent on environmental conditions, being more evident in resource-rich settings like Switzerland and less so in resource-limited environments like Spain. Lastly, the study highlights the importance of considering environmental context when evaluating the benefits of crop diversification. Abiotic factors tend to have a stronger influence on soil microbes and crop productivity, which suggests that optimizing conditions such as soil moisture and nutrient availability may be more effective than crop diversity alone. Nevertheless, soil microbial communities have the potential to play a beneficial role in sustainable agriculture systems especially when they are managed alongside other abiotic factors. And lastly, I got the reference down here below, and that is pretty much it. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed.